And we're live. This is Julien Jean-Pierre from the Royal St.Lucian Seamoss Company. Everybody's free to join in and participate. I'm here to answer as many questions as I can and help you guys learn more about Seamoss. So I'm going to wait a few minutes and let some people join in on the conversation, and we'll get into it. If anybody has any questions, feel free to post them. Why is this offline? You know what? I'm going to start this again. So I'm streaming on a few different platforms besides Instagram. I'm also on Facebook. And it seems like there's some kind of issue with the live streaming. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. Anyways, so my name is Julien. I'm from a company called the Royal St.Lucian Seamoss Company. We've been exporting and harvesting and exporting sea moss for like over 3 years now. And I've done a lot of research into sea moss, and I've had a lot of experience in the water, doing all sorts of sea moss farming and cultivation, planting, harvesting, diving, you name it, I've done it. Yeah. Just answering some of these guys' questions. So let me know if you guys have any questions. You know what I mean? And definitely go into some topics that are talked a lot. I know a lot of people always want to know what's the difference between the sea moss colors. Um, you know, why is can sea moss get nutrients from a rock? What else do people want to know? Did you see that fake sea moss post? No, I'm not sure. I see a lot of like fake sea moss posts or people claiming that sea moss is fake, which absolutely is not true. It's literally impossible to get fake sea moss. Like, just the definition of fake. In order for the sea moss to be fake, it has to be made out of materials that are not of sea moss, right? So Nate, show me sea moss that's made of some material besides sea moss. It's sea moss. Let me add you in there. We're gonna have Plant B Fitness. What's up, bud?
Long time. Good with you.
Good. Long time no talk.
I know it's been a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, it was a post, right? Where I guess this dude was trying to sell a certain type of sea moss.
Always.
And he was like, he showed a picture of the yellow sea moss, the one that's like white and kind of like more stringy.
Yeah.
He showed a picture of that, and then he showed a picture of his sea moss. And he was like fake sea moss and real sea moss. And I was like, bro, first of all, as far as I know, they have not found a way to genetically modify sea moss.
No.
And then there's so many varieties of sea moss across the ocean. Like, I hate that. That's the one thing I hate about the sea moss game, is that like people be trying to do that to sell products. I'm like, it's not that serious.
No, and here's and that's funny you say that. Exactly, it was what I was going to say, is that most of the people that go on the this is real or this is fake, mine is real, it's mainly because they don't know how to accurately like describe or articulate their sea moss and why it's good. Do you know what I mean? They'd have to just say it's they have to say the other one's fake, and so mine is automatically real or legitimate, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Makes no sense.
Yeah. So I saw that, and then somebody like sent that post to me, and I was like, man, this dude just trying to sell some shit. It's like stop. Like, and that's the thing, like, you don't even have to do that.
No. The Seamoss sells itself.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to like downplay. And then you got people be like, oh, Jamaica Seamoss is the real Seamoss.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, it's just like, dude, like, it's different Seamosses. There's so many varieties of Seamoss that goes all around the planet.
Yeah.
That grows along all the islands. And you just choose which one you want.
Yeah. And what's good? Like, I don't understand what society's like like not fantasy, but you know what I mean? Like their obsession with having the best. To the point where it's like, all I have to do is tell you this is the best and you'll buy it. And so I have a health food store here, and 90% of the people, that's what they come in. There's all the products here are amazing products. And they're like, well, which one's the best? For what?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? The best. And I go, even if you did, you analyzed them and saw them. I said, the percentages they're different between each other, it's not enough to really say there's a difference. Do you know what I mean? Like if one's 2% more, are you going to feel it? No.
Right, but that's the thing. I think people, I don't know, it is weird. It is because like most people are not looking at it on the scientific level. Like for example, I had made a blend of Seamoss gel, right? And I sent it to my cousin, and then she was like, "This looks like plain Seamoss," and I was like, "Because I gave her a batch before, and I mixed it was a mushroom blend in there."
Yeah.
And she was like, "This looks like the plain Seamoss," and I was like, "Nah." It's like in my head, I was laughing because I think that people just think that like, certain things are more superior.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, Seamoss is Seamoss. If you're getting Seamoss in your body, regardless if it has extra things in it, you're still getting benefit.
Yeah, and you're gonna notice like an improvement on your life. I have not met a single person that's tried Seamoss and hasn't been blown away about it.
Yeah.
Unless they tried poor quality. And that's the thing. There's no fake Seamoss, but there's poor quality Seamoss. There's shitty Seamoss. Do you know what I mean? There's Seamoss that wasn't dried properly, or Seamoss that wasn't cared for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
and then that right there changes the quality of it, the nutritional composition.
No, seriously. I'd really like to see us move towards a sort of like a grading system, so that we could grade, like grade on appearance and quality, and maybe like, I don't know, like it's hard to do it without getting it tested. But if there's others, because the truth is not all Seamoss is the same.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's not fair. Like I have lots of people that say, "Oh, I can get Seamoss for $5," and I'm like, "Yeah, I can get Seamoss for $5 too," but it's not going to be the same Seamoss that I sell for $25. No way. You know what I mean? So, what do you want? Like, do you want cheap Seamoss or do you want good Seamoss?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when you break it down to your product, the price difference between paying $10 and $15 is pennies on the jar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so for me, you know what I mean, I'd spend a little more just to ensure that my product is like, it's almost funny. They want the best, but they're not willing to pay the best for the best Seamoss. Yeah, when it comes to Seamoss, they don't care what it is as long as it's cheap. How else is all these Asians still in business?
Right.
You know what I mean? That's well, not to say that's where all the fake Seamoss, but that's where a lot of the Seamoss is coming from. And this is not to knock them, right? I'm maybe putting a general blanket over that, like that region or whatever. But the reality is that these guys are producing the Seamoss at such a scale that they can't do it at the same, like, I don't want to say same quality, but like it won't look like the same sea moss that comes from, say, St. Lucia or St. Vincent or Grenada or even Jamaica. It just can't. They can't care for it the same way. The stuff is all done by hand in the islands.
Because the quality, whenever you're trying to mass produce, the quality comes down.
Always.
The only way to keep the quality up is by batching.
Always, yes. And that's the thing. These guys are drying the things using machines.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you're wondering why the sea moss looks fake. It's not fake. It's just commercial.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's how they get it for $2 a kilogram.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They have the dryers and stuff like that. So Gary makes the best ribs you've ever had.
Man, that's the dude trolling.
we always got one black troll in every live stream.
I know him too.
No, I know.
Like, clean hell no mind. Tell him he needs to change his breading on his vegan. He made some vegan chicken and his breading is hard as fuck.
Does he make vegan ribs too, or is that the actual?
He just make vegan chicken.
Oh, so he eats vegan chicken and pork ribs.
Yeah.
Must be some good vegan chicken then. Yeah. So where were we?
No, you was talking about the sea moss that's commercially produced.
Yeah, and they're doing it in machines, and they can't not to say they can't beat the quality, but it's just not the same. Do you know what I mean? It's like you can't compare it. You know what I mean? It's like comparing apples to oranges, and so I think, like I said, there needs to be we need to move away from the term fake, and get into the grade.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then in the grade, now we're assessing quality or assessing appearance or assessing value or whatever. Because there's sea moss that I have that, I sell to some people for cheaper because it's got better value for them because it makes more gel, and you know what I mean? And it's stuff that I can't, it's not at the same level. It just doesn't look pretty. It's still good sea moss, right? But that's a funny thing too, is everybody goes on about this wildcrafted sea moss, but if any of those guys saw what real wildcrafted sea moss is, they would never buy it. Never. I'm telling everybody. This is what I laugh because no one's ever seen it, but it's fucking nasty. And it's full of crud, and only the good, there's only real good experienced farmers that can go in and clean it, and it's expensive because it takes it's almost like no one will ever see that sea moss because they're not willing to pay the price, and it doesn't come in quantity because when they harvest it, it takes 6 to 8 months for it to come back. Yeah.
Wow, that's neat.
Yeah, see, and it smells mustardy. St. Lucia Premium Sea Moss knows what I'm talking about. And it's all black and brown. It's got all the guck from the sea because it sits there in the water for so long. And there's all this turbulence and shit like that. And so it just gums right on it. And so you almost have to scrub it off.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've had it. Yes, it's tougher. And I've had it. Right. I did an experiment in St. Lucia. I was obsessed, bro. I was obsessed with this. Before we really stepped out of the gate, I was obsessed with this wildcrafted and this rock. And I'll tell everybody, this is why I stand the way I stand now, is that I made sure that I said, if I'm going to come out there and sort of come against this, I'm going to be absolutely 1000% sure of what I'm saying, or I'm not going to. Yeah. Or I'm not going to say it. Do you know what I mean? So I've tested the sea moss. I've had the true wildcrafted. I took it for 2 weeks, and then I took the farm sea moss for 2 weeks. No difference, at least not in my opinion.
But that's the thing. The thing is, people try to get to the point where they're like, "Oh, if it's farmed, it's bad." And I'm like, no, it's sea moss is a plant.
Well, and here's the joke: none of them know how farming actually works. If you probe them and sit there and say, okay, so, and they're like, oh, well, they add this. No, man, That's the big thing about CMOS in the industry right now. It's blowing up all over the world, bro. Like I've been doing a lot of research in kelp, like all this other shit. That's going fucking nuts. Government's paying so much money. The U.S. government's investing so much money into CMOS, and that's why soon you're going to start seeing a lot of rules and regulations and shit like that because they're starting to introduce this stuff for farming, eating, like feeding cattle. They found certain strains of CMOS that if they give it to cows and pigs, it reduces the methane by 99%. So they're going to start putting all this money in, and shit, where was I going with this? I just got all excited. Like the point is that, huh?
You were talking about knowing before you said something.
Oh, about the what? That was it. So when it comes to getting the minerals from the rock, I made absolutely sure that I know that's not true, and that it's not even possible.
Right.
And I've talked it at so many different ways. You know what I mean? I've attacked everything that Dr. Sebi said. I've attacked the actual growth of the CMOS. Most people don't even know what CMOS eats.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So I've studied that. I've studied the cellular structure of the CMOS. Do you know what I mean? I've done all that shit. And so,
what does it eat? Other plant organisms?
No, nitrates, nitrogen.
Oh, nitrate.
So it comes nitrogen that comes off the land. So that's one of the things that makes CMOS in St. Lucia, in my opinion, a higher quality, is because our land is so friggin' fertile, bro. And it's so virgin, and it's so like mineral rich. It's like volcanic soil everywhere.
Yeah.
And so when the rains hit that and they rush and they permeate and they filter through, that's where they pick up all the nutrients and the nitrates and stuff like that. And then it flushes out into the sea, and CMOS naturally grows outside near where rivers open up and in these slow bays and the currents. And so they suck up all that nitrogen, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's actually, that's one of the things that the U.S. government's really investing in a lot of CMOS or seaweeds, is to basically look at the ability to remove nitrogen and carbon from the planet. You know what I mean? And so they're testing it not only just in like places like Maine and other places like on the coast and stuff, but they're also heavily invested in Puerto Rico and Belize and stuff. And so they're going to do tropical farming too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's dope. But yeah, I would say, I think it's definitely taken a whole nother level. And I think also gelling. You know what's funny though? It's crazy because like before, like, and maybe I don't know if you've seen it, but before I made my CMOS with butterfly pea, I didn't see nobody with that particular mixture of CMOS and butterfly pea.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's everywhere.
That's awesome.
Like, huh?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was like, that's cool to be a little innovator.
Yeah, like that, to me, that's validation. Like some people will listen to that and be like, oh fuck, they're all copying me and they're all blah blah blah. But it's like, no, man. That just proves to you know what you're doing. And really that's the time where you start inventing new shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because if you become the guy that everybody follows, your shit's going to be awesome all the time, because everybody, you know, I was thinking about that today. Like what does it really take to make shit popular? All it takes is a bunch of like you have to have a certain amount of people going one direction, and then a lot of people just follow.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's
well, I think what it is this. It's like you being the wave.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you do something and then other people copy it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what brings popularity and influence.
Yeah, and
it's like,
sorry, go ahead.
People are not watching. This is the thing, right? I always say this. Some people operate from a space of fear, and some people operate from a space of creation.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to gain that popularity, or not necessarily popularity, in order to gain that following,
influence, yeah,
the influence, it comes from you being on your creative energy and leading the way.
Mm-hmm. Not being afraid.
Like it was something that spoke to me about the herb butterfly pea and CMOS together.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and then ever since then, I've been experimenting with other stuff. Like, I make golden milk with it. Like, I've done all type of different things, but you know, it's pretty dope to, you know, to see what you create and then see it somewhere else.
I love it. I almost like, not to say that like it almost sounds a narcissist to say that, but sometimes that's what I love doing is creating this stuff. It's like I hope people copy me. Do you know what I mean? Because then you're like, okay, like yeah, that was right. That was a good move. Like, you know what I mean? People agreed. Like the market, you know, put their stamp on that and said, okay, let's run with that. Yeah, man. So what else? So what else have you been working on? What have you been making?
Man, you know, I want to get back to the gummies, G.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoyed the gummies. I just think that they're kind of labor intensive. But I found a way to make them to where they last longer. Because I think I told you this before, but when I did them last time, I kept them as a gel, and they were kind of like wet. And when they're wet inside of a jar, they don't do the same thing. Like it can mold.
Yeah, no, right? Totally. The moisture will affect it.
So what I did was I put them in the dehydrator. And then I got some like vitamin C.
Yeah.
To kind of like make it to where it don't get moist.
Yeah.
And I tell you, that was the formula.
And then how long do they last now?
They last hella long.
Oh, nice.
Like probably like about a good. I had some that I was eating on for like maybe like about a month and a half, 2 months.
That's good.
Yeah, and they was good. The only thing is, but they get small. They get real small. So you know, like honestly, I would like to have them tested one day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you can figure out like what the nutrients are that's in them still.
You're almost going to need to soon when you get to a certain level, because like I'm working in a health food store. I own the health, and then like people are, you know, they're looking at the labels at everything that's in it. You know what I mean? And if you had a product that's not in it, like I think that's one of the reasons why Seamoss is not as mainstream, is because there's not enough information to describe what's actually in it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, when I describe what's in it, people are like amazed, and then they're like, "Well, how much magnesium is in it?" And it's like, "Fuck, I don't know." It's got it. You know, so yeah. Like the gummies sound cool. Maybe you got to get like a bigger mold, or make your own molds. You know what I mean?
I think that's all I need to do. I was looking at. You ever heard of those goalie gummies?
Yeah. I sell them here.
Yeah, I was looking at their I was trying to look at what they were doing. But it seemed like they got some solid molds, but I think what it is, they're using like tapioca sugar.
And you don't want to use tapioca?
Nah. I was trying to keep it like low glycemic. So I think I kind of did it with agave.
What about like monk fruit and stuff?
Monk fruit would be dope too. I haven't experimented with monk fruit, but I think it would be dope. I got some downstairs.
So does the goalie berry guys, do they how do you put it? Do they do private label, or do they do co-packing? Like, will they make label like gummies for you?
No, that would be like. See, that's the thing. The thing is, like, I got a lot of stuff that I want to try to create.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out like if there's like a vegan white labeling, because every time I get to it was a place I was going to do, they have like where you can create your own supplement line. But it's like, it's hard to find a place that has good product, like, you know what I'm saying, good ingredients.
Yeah.
That's like white labelable. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like, and I think like I even thought about starting one of those businesses.
Yeah.
Like getting a white label business for health products like teas, vitamins, supplements, stuff like that. Because every place that does, there is no strict vegan place that does that.
Mm-hmm.
You know
No.
what I'm saying? Like, and that's the thing too. Like, as a plant-based practitioner, it's like I don't want to put my name behind something, and then all of a sudden you be like, oh, recall, this shit have dairy tracings in it.
Yeah, or some bullshit.
Like, so.
Yeah.
And then too, I just think that the quality of the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool with extra fillers, and I just want the shit to be real food, real stuff.
Well, I feel like one of us in this community needs to really kind of step up and like go to one of these manufacturers and get a design done and take the risk and basically make a gummy for all of us in the community.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And this is where I feel like, you know, we're not networking enough or working harder enough together. We're so focused on us being our own bosses that we're not like masterminding in a sense. Because could you imagine if, like, you know, someone came out with the right gummy and they said, hey guys, let's all sell this, like, here's a cheap price for it. You can make some money on it, and then I'm going to sell mine too and make some, you know what I mean? Like,
and then we all just have a white label gummy.
Yeah. Even if it's the same gummy, no one's going to know.
No, but that's the thing. And see, this is the thing. The crazy part about that is that's what Trader Joe's does.
Yeah.
That's what Whole Foods does. Anytime you see a Whole Foods brand, they got that shit from the same manufacturer.
Mm-hmm.
They just said, hey, we need this amount, this many units of this product.
Yeah.
Make it for us.
Yeah. They might change the mixture slightly or put different, but it's usually the same stuff. You know what I mean? And so why can't we? Because the reality is we're not all selling to the same guys.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Most guys, like, this is what's so crazy that people don't really sort of establish. The market is so huge and so underdeveloped that it's like it's almost impossible for one person to be in contact with multiple brands.
It's like this. Like, when people talk about competition, bro, it ain't no such thing as competition.
No.
You won't be able to serve everybody.
Exactly.
Like, you physically can't.
And there's not enough people trying to serve people.
No.
You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, and it's crazy because, like, even I look at that in the gym setting.
Yeah.
Like, it's gym owners that don't want to work together. And I'm like, yo, bro, once you get to capacity, you're done.
Yeah.
Like, once your gym is at capacity, what you gonna do?
Uh-huh.
You can't take no more people on. So imagine if we all work together to fill our gyms up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we could do the same marketing and just push people right in the same, just like how you saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it doesn't make any sense for people not to work together. But I think that I think you know what it is though. This is what I say. I think the difference is this, right? What we're talking about is a more experienced entrepreneurial idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that everybody has different levels of experience in entrepreneurship.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? And I think when you first come into the game,
mm-hmm.
that's the way you thinking. You like, competition, because that's the way we're taught.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're taught competition, not collaboration.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing about, because what you're talking about is a mindset.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a mindset. That's like saying, yo, we can all eat.
Yeah.
Let's figure out a way for us to all eat.
Yeah.
You handle this part of the supply chain. You handle this part of the supply chain, and let's make it pop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's some high level thinking. Because you have to, like I said, you have to go from a scarcity mindset to a creative mindset.
Yeah. An abundance mindset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it really comes down to us, like, how do you put it? Like, the Seamoss is there. You know what I mean? Like, we just got to go out and make it. You know what I mean? And if there's not like, people are always asking me, like, well, is there going to be enough Seamoss? I'm like, fuck, how much do you want? Let's make it. Like, if there's not enough now, we'll make more. You know what I mean? It's not like, you know, I was reading some articles today about like this, like they're doing sort of analysts across so the United States is investing heavily in a lot of these projects, like spending like millions and millions of dollars. And so one of the biggest things is that they showed that they had this thing called the economic inclusion zone.
Yeah.
You know what that is? So basically, because the Americans own so much islands and property around the world, they've established these like called economic exclusivity zones. Basically, only they can operate and do work in these stuff. And so they have countries and like Hawaii and the Polynesian islands and shit like that. They've all added that, and then they have all around their country and shit like that, and it stretches for several miles and stuff. And so they said that based on this huge economic zone, they have more space than America themselves to do stuff in the ocean. And that with sea moss and seaweeds, it's like anywhere's fair game. All the areas are on the table. And so there's so much, you know what I mean? And they're talking about building, farms for fuel, for making plastics, the new industry called bioplastics, fertilizers, fertilizers, animal feed, bioplastics, medical industry, like fuck, everything's on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Soon your car is going to be gassed with seaweed.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
So they found a way to use seaweed to make everything.
Well, they're doing studies now to make biofuels. I think they haven't really sort of like scaled that shit up yet, but it's almost like they're getting ready so that when oil becomes either unaffordable or non-existent, that they're going to switch to seaweeds.
So seaweed is the new peanut.
Pretty much. It's crazy. And so it's it has been and is going way beyond doctors, the realm of Dr. Sabi, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, I'm excited.
Hey.
I think it's awesome.
Hey yo, so what does it take to set up your own herbal shop, like a shop like you got?
I have no idea. I never did this.
Oh, okay.
I bought it. Like it was already running. It was running for like 33 years. I bought it off of like some white guy that was like a fitness trainer.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, and it had the staff and everything. The staff is super dope. The whole vibe here is cool. I love being here. I'm like here like as much as I can. Like even like it's not even work for me. Like we've been closed since 5, and I still have the door open. If someone comes in, I'll serve them. Fuck it.
Yeah. That's dope.
Yeah.
You get to sit around and talk about health all day.
Yeah, and learn about stuff about health. Bro, I learned so much. And like we have all kinds of stuff like tinctures and like extracts and stuff like that.
Hey,
And
y'all got some AHCC?
What is AHCC?
Oh man, you got to get that shit.
What is it though? Tell me.
It's active hexose correlated compound.
I think we can't get it. There's a few things that we can't get because in Canada there's rules and stuff like HGA, human growth hormone stuff we can't get. Yeah. There's a bunch of stuff.
But AHCC is just mushrooms though.
Oh, okay.
You should check it out.
Oh, awesome.
It'll sell through anytime cold and flu season comes.
Yeah.
It's really dope.
So yeah. Sorry to cut you off, but I took these today. Someone's coming in.
Oh yeah, that's dope.
Hey, how you doing?
Are you guys still open?
Well, yeah, I'm here. So.
Do you guys have like orange juice or anything like that?
Not orange juice, but I have some Seamoss drinks. So there's a mango one and tamarind. I think I have.
Where is that?
It's at the back. There's a cooler there.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have coconut water. Do you like coconut water?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's actually one called Pure Bliss. It's a fresh coconut water with no preservatives. It was shipped straight from Guyana.
Okay. Is
Yeah.
that cooler too?
Yep, same cooler. Yeah. So yeah, I took lion's mane.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, this is my first time trying this in the pills, and I actually like it. I think it said take one a day, but I think I'm going to take like 2 or 3 because it said I could take up to 3.
Whenever you do it, you always take. My grandfather was a naturopathic doctor.
Yeah.
And he said whenever you're dealing with supplements, you always take 1 times the recommended dose because the dose on the bottle is the FDA safe dose.
Mm-hmm.
The medicinal dose is always 1 times greater than the amount recommended.
Oh, I never knew that.
1 to 2 times greater.
Yeah, like you can always take more. Well, I know there's a lot of people that are taking a lot of like when they're taking some of these supplements. Like do you take vitamin D? D3?
Yeah, vitamin D.
Yeah, so I have one guy that comes in here, he takes 10,000 IUs a day. a day.
That man is juiced up.
Yeah, man.
I bet you he's healthy.
Yeah, he's like 75 and he looks like 50 or something like that. He was ridiculous.
10,000 IUs of vitamin D. Wow.
Yeah. And so he has to drink all this water, he said, because he takes it because it does something with the cell, like the inner veins or something like that, breaks off some kind of enzymic plaque or something like that. And he's like, if you don't constantly have water to flush it, you'll get toxic, you'll get sick, basically, because the plaque will re-embed in. It's like bad shit, and it gets back into your body in a different way. And he's like, you can get sick. Yeah.
Thank you, but I'm not going to go with it.
Okay, cool. No problem. Yeah. Yeah.
That's solid.
Yeah. I think she looked at the wrong coconut, but whatever. Because we have this one, like it comes frozen from Guyana. They actually have it in the States under a different brand name called Farm Boy or Fat Boy.
Fat Boy.
Yeah, Fat Boy coconut water. And it's got a coconut on the bottom and stuff like that. But it's pure coconut water from Guyana. They have a system where they harvest the coconuts and then they juice it and then they freeze it, flash freeze it, and then they ship it. Yeah. And so they have you ever seen pink coconut water?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have that with the pink coconut water.
They got a place called Harmless Harvest.
Yeah.
That has pink coconut water.
Yeah. So that's where that comes from, right? So the pink coconut water comes because the coconut is a young coconut. Are you there? Oh, it looked like he died out. Let's see if he comes back.
Yo.
Yeah, you got a phone call, I guess.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Yeah, my
Yeah, that's all right. So yeah, I don't know if you missed me, but I was saying the pink coconut comes from the coconut being young, like it's a baby coconut.
Oh.
Yeah. So baby coconuts produce pink coconut water.
Oh. And then when they get older, it turns clear.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's good.
People was like, "Oh, the pink coconut water is fake."
That's just
want to say everything is fake.
yeah. And it's just funny how like no one has any proof or any kind of like I've seen this and that, and it's like, and it's, bro, that's why I've made it like one rule in my life. I don't listen to anybody who hasn't done it. So when they're saying this and this and that, I'm like, did you do it? Did you try it yourself? And even then, I don't listen to them too hard because everybody's different.
Yeah.
And every situation's different. And you know what I mean? And it doesn't mean because you couldn't do it, doesn't mean I can't do it.
Exactly.
I need to find out for myself. That's my view, at least.
That's real.
That's true. Yeah, I gotta get nicer chairs here. Fuck this seat.
Huh?
I'm sitting on this stool. I need to stand up for a minute. It's like it's not good for my back. Look what I'm sitting on. Because we don't have enough chairs back here. I'll get another one. I think this one will be better. So, besides the gummies, what have you been experimenting on?
Just the gel. I'll show you some of my gels. Just gelling. I think gel has been the biggest thing. I haven't made any drinks out of it yet.
I know the lemonades have been going crazy for a while, eh?
You said lemonade?
Yeah, like I see a lot of people doing the lemonades.
Really? I can make a bomb ass lemonade too.
Yeah, man, people love the lemonades.
I can make I made like some lavender lemonade.
Sorry, I'm just while you do that, I'm realizing for the last while I gotta call the Restream company that I use to do my live stream. It's so annoying. These guys are all commenting here, asking questions, and I'm not seeing any of them. Because you know what I mean? It's like it's not coming through in the area that it's supposed to.
So like that right there, that's my moringa blend.
So Asha says I sell 16-ounce juices for $12 and sell it at events. Definitely, that is
Wait, what
one.
was that? 16 ounce
Juices for $12.
juices for $12.
Yes, and she sells out at events.
But that's the thing. Like I could go right to the lake and just sell them. I think I just need to figure out get some containers.
Yeah, get the juice containers, figure out the pricing, but you don't have to copy me, but I'll give you my sort of like game plan, or like I had a strategy because I was about to do it. Like I almost bought the there's a guy on the Facebook group, what's his name, G Allen. I almost bought his juice recipes and everything. I was going to get started, but I was going to go to events, all like urban block events,
Yeah.
right? And I was going to create 3 types of drinks. One for the bedroom,
Yeah.
one for hydration,
Yeah.
and one for hangover.
Yeah.
And I was going to go to all the reggae events and stuff like that. And I was going to sit out there with my bench and talk about Seamoss and have the Seamoss there for sale, but not really push the Seamoss, but more the drinks, right? But it's not so much to make money, but to actually advertise. So there's sometimes 2,000-3,000 people coming out of a club.
Yeah.
They're all going to see you.
Yeah.
If you're in the right place and you put the right flash and this and that. And, and especially if you're selling the juices, I would even sell the juices almost for next to nothing.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Or have some kind of deal, like buy all 3 and it's like you got one for free or something like that.
Yeah.
And then and then hand out cards, hand out the flyers and whatever, and say, hey, we got juices, check us out, and we have Seamoss, and here's our website. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Total local targeting. And here's the thing: people will spend $1,000, $3,000 a month on Google advertising. You'll probably get more impressions doing a couple events like that, and it doesn't cost you anything but your time. You know what I mean? You'll make money.
Yeah. You know what I think about? I think I gotta figure out, like, I gotta create some sort of branding, like a booth wise. I could probably do a guerrilla first, but I think it would be beneficial to create some sort of branding booth wise. Have a little booth and just sell Seamoss drinks. Like, because now that I'm thinking about it, like, of course you definitely can make bigger batches. And the thing is, like, I be trying to take shit to a higher level, so I got, like, along with the Seamoss, like, I don't make my shit regular faucet water. So I got this right here.
The flow water thing, the water purification. Oh, Asha says you can get pouches on Amazon, 100 for $20 or so.
Oh, pouches? Ooh, that would be dope. See, y'all gonna have me out here. Look, y'all gonna have me out here slinging, and you already know I got plenty still. So actually, I'm still running through my last batch. So I still got this one right here.
Oh, nice. It looks pretty, man.
Huh?
I said that looks pretty.
I still got this one too. So I'm ready.
Wicked.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm thinking. I think that's probably pretty much the thing I need to do is just kind of create a little bit of branding, get a tent. Because really, to be honest, what I really could do is I really could just go to the farmers market. I could hit up the farmers markets and really pop it off like that.
Yeah. Lots of people I know at the farmers market, man, do well. And you know what you could even do is have some kind of setup where it's easy for them to put some kind of information in and have a contest for like a free Seamoss package or something like that. You know what I mean? You just want to find ways to collect these people's information and then almost throw them. I don't want to use the word funnel, but throw them into your sort of like mailing list system where you're marketing stuff, bro. You know how
But
much
see,
like,
the thing.
huh?
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you know how much business I've gotten recently by like revisiting and retargeting my mailing list, like all the people that have bought from me and stuff like that. It's crazy.
Well, look, this is the thing. So I actually came up with I created a Seamoss subscription.
Uh-huh.
So basically, like I created. Nobody subscribed to it just yet,
Mm-hmm.
but my cousin actually, she lives in another state, and what I did was I was like, okay, I was trying to figure out how to ship it, because sometimes when I would ship it, like I had some times where I'm in California, so I think people was probably thinking like, yo, this is weed. So they would probably, whenever they see a California package coming to like Texas or something like that, all of my packages was getting opened.
Yeah.
So I sent it to this one person. Every time I sent it to him, it got opened, and I was like, that's crazy. But then I started overnighting it and making it so therefore, like, because I would freeze it first and then ship it, and then, just to make sure that it wouldn't go bad.
Thought out, yeah.
And so that was an effective method. So that's a part of my Seamoss subscription. So if somebody wants to ship, I just have them do next day shipping, and they pay for that, and I just ship it to them.
Yeah.
So that was one thing, but the drinks is really gonna. I could see that really popping. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna work on a formula for the drinks.
Some herbal drinks, and you come up with a whole line of drinks. You know what I mean? You come up with a whole line of drinks, and then even have like here. I know there's one guy that I do business with, and whatchamacallit, he doesn't sell Seamoss by. You can't go to him and buy one jar of Seamoss. He only sells it by the 24 case.
Whoa.
Yeah. But he sells to all these people that take it and resell it. You know what I mean?
Oh, so he's like the whole jail wholesaler.
Sailor, yeah, and that's all he does. And he does the same with the drinks too. You know what I mean? You have to buy a case of 12 of the drinks to get the drinks.
That's smart.
You know what I mean? But he'll mix and match them and stuff like that, And I think he's got like 10 different drinks or so. You know what I mean? So a lot of these places he gets their stores and stuff like that.
I think the only thing I'm thinking about is like production. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, here's the thing.
You know what?
Yeah, go ahead. What are you gonna say?
I think really what it is, because this is okay. Look, you're probably gonna laugh.
No.
This is funny as fuck.
Okay.
Because I'm lightweight set up for it, but I think the labor part about it is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, so, of course. Look, you got the fridge. Yeah.
I got the fridge right there, and then on top of that, so I have been I've been experimenting with. I've been juicing and stuff too, right? So this right here is watermelon juice. This is like a carrot, golden beet, and orange juice. And remember that leaf that you sent me? I put that in here. This is that tea. Nice. I put other shit in there too. It's like my male tea. So, and then that's my little Seamoss gel.
Yeah, with the blue pea, right?
Yeah, the butterfly pea. So I've been doing it, and I think it would be nothing for me to do it. Actually, right now, I feel like since watermelon season is in, I could kind of rock with. I could probably do something with Seamoss and watermelon.
Yeah.
Like a refresher, like cucumber. Nah, just Seamoss and watermelon.
Yeah, or doesn't lime go good with watermelon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you got my wheels turning.
Hey, I want to shout out to Boss Seamoss himself from Seamoss Kanawan. I see him there, Daddy. That's my boy. You know what I mean? True Seamoss farmer. That guy works hard. You know what I mean? And I'm so happy for them and their business and how much it's grown. They're if you ever want to check them out, they're Seamoss Boss Kanawan.
Seamoss Boss.
Yeah, count of one.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to add the count of one. And someone messaging me here. Hold on. Hi. Sorry, got to keep on top of these communications. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think I might do that. I think I might come up with a couple of drinks. Probably get like some bottles and stuff. Figure out where to get some sort of bottles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to, and that's the thing. You got to. This is what I was going to say earlier: is that you got to really decide how far you really want to go with this. How serious do you really want to get? Because at this point in time, and in the environment that we live in now, sky's the limit.
Yeah.
It really comes down to the effort that you want to put. You know, you can get the funding, you can get the financing, especially when you've had a business already, and you can show sales and that it's a workable. Like any investor, because I do a lot with real estate and investing. The main thing investor wants and is looking for is proof of concept. Show me it works. So once you show you got sales and people want the product and people are interested, people will give you the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They'll find out if you need the money. You just got to show how much you need and what you're going to do with it. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, bro, we all started our businesses on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It just blows my mind. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can only imagine what my life would be like if at 16 I could start a 6-figure business on Instagram and push it and fucking hustle. I would be trillionaire right now.
Yep.
For real. It'd be crazy. Because I was trying to do all this stuff like in the 2000, like early 2000s stuff, and you just didn't have these platforms where you had these people, you know what I mean? That you can connect and market it. Look, there's been like somewhat 20-30 people watching these live streams, learning about Seamoss and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
So this is my thing, right? I'm trying to think about this, right? So I got it under my own brand, and I'm just coming out as plant-based fitness and selling Seamoss. I'm wondering, do I keep it like that, or do I start my own Seamoss brand itself?
Hi, how you doing? Were you looking for anything?
Something, the cane.
Oh, a cane. Oh, you would be better to try Shoppers or so.
Yeah, not the cane, the one you both blank, the one what you call it? Similar to the cane, but it's not a cane, you know.
Like a brace or something?
The brace, but the one for helping you walking.
Oh, the yeah, the cart. Yeah. The try Shoppers. Yeah, down the road. All right. It's nice that people still come in, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. What's up, action? Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, so yeah, I feel you. I think the only thing I was thinking about the drinks, I feel like the gel, I don't know, I just feel like it's a bigger investment for people with the gel than it is with the drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Say what's up to your uncle.
Well, the one thing I'm surprised that we haven't really done a lot of work in is figuring out preservation techniques.
You said figuring out what?
Preservation to like how do we preserve this Seamoss? Because I sell a product in the store. I have a company that makes Seamoss, and they do something to the Seamoss. I should go grab it because it says on the label. But she can keep her Seamoss, I think, for like 4 months in the fridge.
In the gel, it has to be something with the temperature.
I don't know. Let me go get the jar and I'll see because it says on the label.
That's the only thing I'm thinking. You know what? But I've heard that before.
Yeah, she won't tell me because when I asked her, I said, "How did you do this?" She started laughing because she's like, "Yeah, so you could tell the whole world." And she's like,
no, you know what? The craziest part, I know this lady. She used to work at you know. Have you ever heard of Cafe Gratitude?
The name sounds familiar.
So Cafe Gratitude is like a raw. They used to be like a vegan raw place. They did like a lot of whole foods, right? And then the lady used to be like their pastry chef, and she said the same thing. She was like, sea moss lasts for a long time, and she was like, yeah, it lasts for like 4 months. She said it'll last in the refrigerator for so long, and I thought about it, and I was like, so like for me, sometimes I'll have sea moss, and okay, like I think I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So like this, right?
Yeah.
And this is like the mushroom one that I got, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at it, hold on. Now you see how it got like that little film right there on the top?
Yeah.
But when you look at the jar, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like, let me see how it smells. It don't smell bad. It's just like that little thing on the top. Now,
Yeah, like what is that? Is that mold? Is that,
Huh?
No, I'm saying like is that mold? What is that? Is that like, does it mean it's gone bad? Yeah, you don't know.
That's the thing. So it's like, so now what I could do is I could take it and I could just scrape off this little top and see if I can still use it.
But like, how could you use it without testing it to see if like
That's the thing.
the microbe content?
Right. That's the thing. That's where the science part will come in on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wouldn't just do it. But look, now check this out. This is interesting. So look, I just scraped that top part off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now look at it.
It's fine. It's almost like mold on bread. Like you could pick, or cheese.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we'd have to see if there's some way to test it.
He said if it was a way to do a litmus test.
Yeah.
That would be dope because, you know what I'm saying? Like, because then it will let you know, like, if it's going bad. Because that's the thing. I don't see it, because, like, you know, it has to have a lot of moisture. Mm-hmm. And when it's like this, it doesn't seem like it carries a lot of moisture. Because, like, if you look at this right here, like, it's not a lot of moisture in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still, like, sea moss gel.
Yeah, it's still thick there.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't see, like, I can see if it was, like, wet. Then it's a possibility for moisture to really get in there. But
let me go grab the jar now. I'll go see what it says. Yeah, I'll be right back.
I don't know what to choose.
Yeah, so this batch I have with them, it's good until I think August 23rd. Best before. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I know how they do it.
What?
They vacuum blend it.
Yeah.
Because the vacuum blending sucks all the moisture out of it, and it actually lasts longer when you vacuum blend it. Ooh, you know what? I'm gonna try that. You know why? Because that's the one thing I was noticing about sea moss, right? Is like when you blend it up in the blender, it'll get like these.
So why? I'm gonna ask her, why are you not shipping this fucking around the world? So this is what it says here. It says oxygen sealed to stay fresh for 3 weeks in the fridge, opened, 3 months in the fridge, sealed, 1 week at room temperature, sealed.
Vacuum blending. Gee, look. So check this out. So you see this right here? So this is just sea moss and butterfly pea, right? Yeah. But whenever you blend it in the blender, it'll get, like I got the Vitamix, and it'll get those air bubbles, right?
Yeah.
And so sometimes you can see it at the top of the, hold on.
I don't know how to vacuum blend. Alicia, Google vacuum how to vacuum blend. So Bonanza Rouse says, "What type of water do you add to your sea moss?" I do spring water. Don't use tap water. Honestly, I use tap water. I don't give a fuck. I know it sounds rude, but you know, I come from a generation that used to drink from the tap, from the hose. So I'm not afraid of a little bit of fluoride.
Check this out. So you see those little bubbles on the top?
Yeah.
Those are the air bubbles that come in the sea moss from the blending, but that's frost. That's a little bit of frost.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also air bubbles right up there, right?
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that. I was like, damn, how do I? Because one time I made a container, right?
Uh-huh.
And what happened was, it was the full amount when I made it, but then when the bubbles settled down, it was like this much space in there.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh shit, that's the reason why, because of the air bubbles. So vacuum blending is a technique where you either get a blender that does vacuum blending, or you get a vacuum blending attachment container, right?
Yeah.
And what happens is as it's blending, it sucks the oxygen out. So it keeps everything tight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you can have it. You know how like you got regular food savers?
Yeah.
So food savers do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks all the oxygen out, so therefore
It lasts longer. Yeah.
So look, even with this has been in my refrigerator for maybe like 4 weeks.
Uh-huh.
And it still looks good.
I wonder if whatchamacallit, if you vacuum sealed your sea moss in like pouches, would that last longer than putting it in jars?
It would.
Yeah.
Or what I could do is I could vacuum blend the jars. I could get like those lids that remove all the oxygen.
Vacuum blend. Sorry, I'm like Googling canning solutions. We need to really sort of crack the case on this preserving thing, because that's the truth. Like so many people could expand their businesses if we were able to kind of figure out the how to do vacuum canning.
That's what it is. That's all it is. That's how it's gonna last longer.
Yeah.
Even for like juices, like it's all gonna come down to removing the oxygen from it, because if you think about it, when something goes bad, what does it do? It oxidizes, right? So how do you stop things from oxidizing? Remove the oxygen from it.
Mm-hmm. Even vacuum sealing juices can make them last for 2 weeks.
Yep. That's the key, because so I'm about to start making these little raw wraps, right? And I'm gonna wait till I get my vacuum blender, because I ordered one. So like they got one for Blend Tech. They got one for how do you pronounce his name? Akshan?
Mm-hmm.
Akshan said it's canning.
Yeah. I'm like researching the canning right now.
But then the thing about that is like, what happens when you open up the can?
Well, that's what it says here, is like once you open it, then it lasts 3 weeks.
Boil the jars in water and add your product in the cap. Add lids and snap the seals. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but with that's almost like pasteurization.
would that heat the product too much?
The nutrients, and that's the thing too, is like with the vacuum blending, you still maintain the nutrient density of the food.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? Because it actually has more nutrients than regular blending.
So it's like a blending. What is vacuum blending? Is it like a blending machine or?
So vacuum blending is like a here. Let me see. I think I gotta. Let me see if I can put a picture of it.
Holy shit!
Show pictures, can I?
Yeah, you can show. I think. But this thing, there's this one machine here. It's like a V blender dry powder mixer. Oh, that's a dry powder mixer.
Yeah.
The best cheap vacuum blender you can buy. See if we can. Oh, this is cool. Oh, what?
Does discount juicers?
No, I'm reading this guy. OK Raw. He's pretty crazy guy. He does a lot of stuff with like food, and I used to follow him because at one point I was like learning how to do what do they call it, like homesteading and like small, like being able to like grow commercial crops on an acre farm and stuff. And oh no, it was, you know, when I was watching him for doing I got really into aquaponics for a long time. Yeah, I'm like a master at aqua. Like, I know so much about aquaponics. It's like ridiculous. That's one thing that people don't know about me. I'll get on a subject and I'll get fanatical about it where I disappear for like weeks. And I'm sitting at home by myself in front of a computer just researching or watching. Like, I can sit in front of the computer and watch 10 hours of YouTube videos and learn everything I need to know about aquaponics and do it every day, day after day, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. So I know a lot about aquaponics.
Yeah. So that vacuum, I'm gonna try it out.
Yeah. So it looks like an attack. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I was gonna say I'm gonna try it out when I make my next batch because I feel like that's gonna that right there is gonna preserve it a whole lot.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like an attachment on the thing, right?
Yeah.
Crazy. I think I'm gonna play a little video because I like while you were gone, I went and I was like Googling it and checked it out, and I found this one video. Where is it?
And then you can tell because the separation, like you know how certain things separate, like when you do juices and smoothies and you leave them, they separate. Yeah, that's discount juicers too.
Mm-hmm. What the guy's called discount juicers?
Yeah, don't you have a thing at the bottom called discount
performance and see how sharp the blades are in a.
Oops. What did I do? I just. No, this is OK Raw, but he probably has like 20.
Oh, okay, yeah, not the same dude. That's not the same dude.
He probably has like 20 different YouTube channels. I could see this guy having so
Now, if you're making
like edible food for us and shit.
Yeah, like he does food, all kinds of stuff with food.
He has a website called
Oh, yeah, because he does all the juicing and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's also into microgreens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same dude.
Yeah, okay. So he probably sells a lot of juicers and stuff. But he's so funny, this guy.
And margaritas or making mixed drinks with alcohol. I'd
You know
say
what I mean?
save your money. Don't buy a vacuum blender.
He has like a place in
On
Arizona,
and to
right?
sell on
I
monthly
think so,
fee.
yeah.
You know, you own it. But $40 is a small investment to make in your health for the potential return you could get on this blender. I personally don't know how long this blender will last. Will I use it once? Will it blow up? Will it not work tomorrow? I mean, it seems like a pretty solid unit to me, and I should get at least a couple years used out of it.
It's so
But that being said, I use my high-end vacuum blender at home, but this would be a perfect size for a travel vacuum blender.
Okay.
Towers.
You're talking too much.
So the machine will not come
I just want to see
container,
how
and
it
besides
works.
blending in it, pump on here, press the button, and it's going to suck out all the excess oxygen. So now when you're blending in an oxygen deprived environment. So the first thing I want to do for you guys is actually give you guys an example of how this vacuum blender works, and also do one of my first tests to see how well it grinds up flax seeds in a flax meal. I encourage you guys to eat flax seeds on a regular basis. They're high in omega-3 fatty acids.
Could you
In
imagine
addition,
if this was the
there's
one
studies that
tool
show maybe the
that like
lignans
was
in there
needed to
can
like
help with
solve
fighting
the
things like
problem with
cancer and
everybody
breast
making
cancer
their
specifically, even maybe regulate menstrual cycles potentially. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and take the carafe, and we're just gonna go ahead and drop in some flax seeds. This is a common test I do on other vacuum blenders to check its performance and see how sharp the blades are. Meanwhile, while this is going, we can lock it into the base. There's a little arrow here with a lock and unlock that you want to line up with the arrow here and drop that right in. And you can then turn it to the lock position. And once you put it in the lock position, then you can go ahead and press the on button, but we're not going to press any buttons yet until it's fully vacuumed. Now, one of the things I don't like about the iKitch is that it's not super easy to use non-pre-programmed functions. You have this one button that's called Pulse or Extra that you can use it to do manual blends, but otherwise you have these buttons here. Most of the buttons will work when you're using the standard carafe, but a few of the buttons will only work if you're using the smaller carafe for blending the personal size. Once that vacuum shuts off, we're going to put it on, press it one more time, let it suck a little more air out and see how much it pulls down. Then it stops, so we got a good vacuum on there. We'll remove this. Now we're going to go ahead and hit the nut and flower button because we want to turn this into like a flower. And let it go. Alright, so I ran it for partial of the cycle and also shook it up a little bit as I'm blending, so I got a little bit better agitation. Next step is we're going to go ahead and put it into my jar with my pre-ground flax seeds. I always like to have
Sorry,
these
I'm reading
available
some of
because I
these
find that
comments.
if I have them pre-ground, stored, I will actually just use them and eat
No,
them a lot more often,
they're
which
all
I believe to be a
researching
good thing.
vacuum
To
blenders.
make sure your omega-3 to 6 balance stays in line, because most people eat far too many omega-6s, and most people would be benefited by eating more omega-3s. All right, so let's go ahead and remove the carafe right off. And we're going to tap this down and get all these flax seeds dislodged. What we're going to do now is we're going to lift off and let the vacuum back in, let the air back in. Listen carefully.
Oh, wow.
Pretty good vacuum there. Lift that top out. Generally, when I lift the top out, I like to push up while I'm lifting the tab. Otherwise, it's an airlock in there. Next step is, I always like to do, I like to take a sieve, put this over my my jar that holds my flax seeds, and we're just going to go ahead and pour the flaxseed meal that we just made in to the sieve. All right, now that we got the jar pretty clean, we're just going to go ahead and then shake this through the sieve, kind of like I'm sifting flour to see all the loose stuff that goes through the sieve, and see how much left over we got caught in the sieve that did not get blended. All right, I think I got it all through there. That's how much we have left. You know, all these seeds have been cracked. It looks like there's very few seeds that are still intact and whole. Maybe if you ran it a little bit longer, they'd blend more. But for me, basically, this blender performed quite well and had really good action and really got a nice fine powder. It did an excellent job, especially for a $40 blender. Now, the next step I want to do for you guys is show you guys how you could store the items that you make in this blender in a mason jar under vacuum. To do that, you'll need a mason jar with the lids that they come with. So we could put that on
I
top.
wonder
If you just look at that
you
now,
don't
this
pasteurize,
off,
but
this
just
is
do
not
vacuum
under
seal.
vacuum. This pump cannot just suck a vacuum on the lid alone. What you will need is an adapter. This is called the Food Saver Wide Mouth Adapter. That's the one I'd recommend for you guys. I don't think the narrow mouth is going to work with this pump, so you got to get the wide mouth. We put this on top. Then we put the pump on top of the Food Saver jar adapter. Press the button. As the pump comes on, it's sucking the extra oxygen out of the jar between the lid and the rim of the lid. Between the rim of the jar and the lid comes out and goes into the vacuum pump. You want to make sure you're fully centered on here, otherwise it's not going to work. Oh, and then you hear that click? That's the click so that it's basically sucking the extra air out. So that means it's working good. And if it's working good, you can see we could pull up on this. It's sucking the air out because we have a good seal. If you don't have it lined up properly, it's not going to work properly. Go ahead and shut it off. Comes out, and now we can pull this off, and now we could tip this upside down, and this is stuck in.
Wow.
And if you got to get this out, you got to get your nails underneath there and listen carefully. Sound of freshness. Air rushing back in. We've preserved our ground up flax seeds in an oxygen deprived environment.
You
so
know
they
what?
won't go rancid
Even if
as
it
quickly.
doesn't
Super
preserve
cool.
it,
You could do that with this
just
vacuum
having
pump
that
that's
feature
included with this
on your
$40
product
vacuum blender
would be
we learned that
like
the
a game
iTitch
changer.
performs satisfactorily when grinding flax seeds to my personal needs.
But I'm
The
just
vacuum's been
saying,
working
like,
quite well. The next thing I
imagine,
really want to show you guys the difference
because
that
I'll say
vacuum
this,
blending
like,
could
if I
make
open
when
the
you're
thing, like,
blending
you know what I mean?
anything.
And then when that,
Especially important when
you
you're
know,
blending your
I'll be like, okay, they did something
vegetables
to it,
and
you
fruits
know?
that contain high levels of
Yeah.
antioxidant nutrients. What I'm doing today is I put some filtered water, reverse osmosis, into the blender
Crazy.
with some tomatoes. I use 5 tomatoes total, but each blender basically got 2.5 tomatoes worth, approximately even amounts, but this is not a yield testing. This is just to show you guys the difference vacuum blending can make. We got the tomatoes and the water in there. Next thing is we got to put this pump on the top, and we're going to suck out the extra oxygen before we blend.
Action is special.
Vacuum
That's the
blending,
name
guys,
from
makes
Special
such
Ed's
a
DJ.
difference. It is so incredible, and I know
That's
a lot
why
of you guys
I
watching
think
this
that's
have
why
a
he called
traditional
him
blender now. This is
That's
going
why
in
he's
one
named
ear and coming out the other. That can't
I've
make a
known
big
that guy
difference,
for years.
John. Well, think about it. Many of you guys may already own a food saver or buy foods in bulk, and then when you buy foods in bulk, you store it, and when you store it, you suck out the extra oxygen in the container that you're storing your food from, and it lasts 2 to 10 times longer, right? If you guys freeze your bananas to make frozen banana sorbet, if you just put them in the fridge in a Ziploc, right, they turn brown. How I store my bananas is I use a vacuum pump to basically vacuum seal my bananas, and then they
There's like some of them would get a lot of oxygen in them, right?
Uh-huh.
So we already know that oxidation is what causes things to go bad.
Yeah.
So step number 1 is when you blending it up, you're removing the oxygen from it.
Mm-hmm.
So it automatically, as a substance, is automatically going to have less. It's automatically going to have less oxygen in it already. So it's not going to go bad as faster. That's just number 1.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you jar it up, or however you do it, can it, jar it, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
that secondary process is preserving it for way longer, because now you're removing the oxygen from the jar. So what happens is probably when you pour whatever you pouring, there's probably a little bit of oxygen that gets in the jar from that period, or that little bit of space that we usually have between the lip and the jar.
Yeah.
That's oxygen right there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you suck all of that out, then you're gonna have way more preservation, because the first substance that you created was the oxygen was removed from it. Then you removed the oxygen from the jar, so you created a total oxygen-free environment. Which then, that's why she said sealed. It'll last for 4 months,
Mm-hmm.
because there's no oxygen in it.
So, and I guess mold can't really grow in oxygen, right?
It needs oxygen to grow, because a lot of molds are airborne.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you have 2 trains of thought when it comes to canning. One is doing it without sterilization and heat. Yep, which is what that guy did. And then there's a standard way of doing it with a heated jar, which is a mason jar that seals down, which is the one you had in your fridge.
Yeah.
That's the standard mason jar. Is done with heat and canned with water.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
So you can do it two ways. Use the same jars. The second one, he used the mason jar as well, but use the lid to seal down and remove the air.
Yeah.
Both will actually inhibit growth of bacteria because water contains oxygen.
Right.
It just slows it down because there's a lot less of it.
Yeah.
So
And you know what? That makes sense too, because you know how people be having those jars like for canning,
mhm,
that be in a canning place for like years.
mhm.
We do them all the time. We do fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, and this stays good for months on the shelf.
Oh.
Yeah, but does boiling it in the preservation method, would that reduce the nutrient content of the product?
So what you can do is there is a preservation method where you do the heat sealing of the jar with the water, as long as you don't boil the product. Right, so you put the fresh product in the jar, fill it all the way up, getting rid of as much oxygen as possible, and then heat seal it that way, and it's done. And
Yeah, because then it's not gonna lose nutrients because you didn't boil the product.
Right.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Like when they put the jars inside the boiling water.
Right.
How long do they put them in the boiling water for?
The hot water is to seal the seal on the top of the mason jar.
Yeah, but how long do you do it in the water for? Do you have to leave it there for like 2 minutes or 5 minutes or?
Minutes, yeah, it's not long. You'll hear it pop actually.
So
It'll suck in. It'll be like
Pop and seal. Yeah.
that's an interesting point, because if it's only a couple minutes, there's no way for it to really heat the product. Do you know what I mean? Like the product might get lukewarm, but but as long as it's not boiled, or as long as it's not heated to the point where it would break down the nutrients, it should be fine.
Should be, yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, we do things like jams and stuff, and when we do that, those are heated, so we make them in a saucepan or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's heated and stuff like that, and it looks exactly like stuff you had in the jar. It congeals like that,
Mhm.
and some might have a little frosty film on top, and that's very normal with canning actually.
Mhm.
I think this is a game changer right here, because I think now that I'm looking at it too, like even if I'm thinking about like juices, the juices will last hella longer because of the way that because they'll be vacuum sealed.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a game changer. And they'll still be fresh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But the problem is, though, when you do any kind of preserves, when you open it, it's got a shelf life of what it would have is when you had it fresh.
Mhm.
So if it's good for a week normally, you open it, you have to use it within the week.
Okay. You know what? I think it would be dope for us to figure out like how long Seamoss actually like lasts in the refrigerator open.
I would say pretty much the same product that Julien has now is pretty much what it would do.
Oh, really? What was the time frames on it, Julien?
3 weeks in the fridge, open.
Okay.
3 months in the fridge, sealed. 1 week at room temperature, sealed.
Okay.
And if you were to take fresh Seamoss, you'd see it probably has exactly the same shelf life. See, that's a mason jar. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah, no. They do it with the mason jar. It says mason on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, but I think she does a vacuum oxygen sealed.
Yeah. That's what she does.
So the oxygen seal is her way of saying vacuum sealed?
I would say it's done canning preserved, the canning preserved way. Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna have to I'm gonna grab that little thing that he had. That little oxygen
Attachment?
Yeah.
Thing that sucks the air out of the jar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So food sealer itself, the actual food sealer, we have that as well. We use that for frozen meats and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But it actually has a mason jar lid with a seal in the lid, and what you do is you attach it, turn the food sealer on, and it extracts all the air out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep. It is a product.
I'll have to check that out. See how long it
Hey,
how long it takes.
Is that like a commercial thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, food saver.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to get one of those.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I would try the avenue of doing the boiling water with the cans or the. I'm sure you'll get good results.
Yeah. definitely.
Nutrients are left over, though. That's what I would like to know.
Yeah, after the boiling. Yeah, I think that would be dope to get some testing around that.
So what I would do is take the Seamoss raw, puree it or whatever you want to do with it, without boiling it, put it in a jar, and then seal it with the hot water, and that's it.
Yeah.
I think you would get pretty close to the same product Julien has there now.
Yeah, so I think what I do sometimes, it just depends. Sometimes I'll do like a cold blend, but sometimes I just heat it up to the water. It's like warm but not boiling. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then once it gets to that, once I start seeing the little steam come off the top, I cut it off.
Mhm.
And then after that, then I blend.
Yeah, I think then it would be sealed at that point, and it would be preserved at that point. So I don't see anything wrong with it.
Right.
But you will get that little bubbly stuff you had on your jar in the fridge, where it looks like it's white mold on top.
Yeah.
That's actually very common with the canning process of anything with any kind of pectin or sugars or preservative in it.
Oh, okay. So that's not unnatural. Okay. Yeah, because the stuff I got still looks good. I'm gonna try it. You know, I'm always getting picked myself. So.
If it's wrong with it, you'll taste it. You'll taste the
Yeah, and you can also smell it too, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't smell, like, the sea moss that I had, I don't smell any mold on it. And it doesn't smell bad. It smells just like sea moss still.
Yeah, it's probably fine.
Yeah.
We do a lot of, like, all that kind of stuff, preserves and seal for the freezer. I mean, it saves a heck of a lot of money when, you know, like, people are getting stuff freezer burnt in their freezers and everything else. So we bought, when it goes on sale, we buy the huge, like, piece of the beef and cut it up. Food seal it, stick it in the freezer, and it lasts really years because there's no air in it.
Yeah.
Right? And also the crystals.
Oh, and then those little crystals can't develop on it.
Because it's air. Air kills your food.
It's the oxygen.
Yeah. Well, because the oxygen creates, so you see when you get the freezer burn, there's these little crystals of ice, right?
Yeah.
The reason why you can't freeze a human is the cells are made out of water. When water freezes, it creates little shards, which destroys human cells. Which also destroys your meat in the freezer and everything.
Right.
So that's why also when they want to freeze something, in the factories they do it flash freezing, which is instant freeze.
Right.
It doesn't give a chance for the crystals to destroy the cells.
Yeah.
That's
that's how all of our frozen food is made, flash freezing. So like even when I'm doing meal prep sometimes, I'll kind of do like a light flash freeze. So like I'll put it inside. When I make something hot, I'll put it in the freezer to cool it down, and then it'll be like cool, and then I pack it because then it lasts longer. So basically it's the same principle.
pretty much. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, where you get
Always working, bro.
I know.
No, I'm just answering people's messages and stuff. And so I'm there. This is like, I think it's definitely a topic. I'm glad we got on this topic. It's a topic that we need to just talk about because no one's really, thinking about, preservation techniques.
Well, I mean, you guys do source the Seamoss like you do already, and then have a better shelf life for most people that want to purchase it, or whatever the case may be.
Well, here's the thing too. If I can figure out good ways to preserve it, I can make the Seamoss down in St. Lucia for like almost like a ridiculously low price, and have it bottled and packaged. You know what I mean, and then shipped.
So what I would do, is there any way for you to test currently right now with fresh Seamoss with the nutrients and value of nutrients?
I mean, you can, but it's expensive. And I don't personally know how to do it.
One time to try to preserve, but a 10 time to see if it's still similar to when it was fresh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's food places that I could reach out to where they would be able to do that, or even if you give them the Seamoss, they
product in a jar. You're gonna have to have a food label on it anyway to tell you what's in it, right? So I mean, it would make sense to have that kind of testing done at least the one time know what you're working with.
True. True. That is true.
Because if I'm going to buy Seamoss now off of you that's already pre-done, all I have to do is take it out of a jar and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's in it, how much it might take iron, how much, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you would. And I would like it more that I would, so for example, instead of me buying, 10 kilos of Seamoss and most of it's only good for so long and I waste a lot of it because it's not preserved of any kind.
Mm-hmm.
This way, if I have it preserved, a company's putting it together for me, putting it on the shelf where I can buy it or selling it to me. When it's already preserved, I know I can leave it preserved until I need to use it.
You talking about after it's dry, putting it in the vacuum seal?
Either dry or canned, like you guys have there, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Drying's not so much of a worry.
Then I'm all over it,
Mm-hmm. Dry, you don't need to really seal it as much. It'll last a long time on its own.
Food seal it with the bags while it's dry to help preserve it too.
But that's what I'm saying. The preservation from when it's dry, it's like, huh?
What do you say?
It doesn't go bad.
It never goes bad sitting out on its own?
No.
It doesn't go in the air or anything like that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
So you can keep bags then.
Yeah, you could leave it in the package for like 10 years and it's fine.
Yeah, I had a batch that I had for like 6+ months that I didn't touch,
Uh-huh.
and it was still good. I had it, inside of a container.
So you're talking about baby then just canning stuff with like a ready-made product.
Mm-hmm.
Is what that is.
Yeah, for the canning, the main thing I'm thinking about is like juice and gel. So I'm thinking of a way to preserve my gel for longer because the thing is, I've been having to freeze it to stop it from going. It doesn't go bad fast, but let's say if I have a batch that doesn't sell right away, I need to have a way for it to still be sellable and still last. You know what I'm saying? Until I'm able to get it off. And
so when you're turning it into a gel, you're doing the process of boiling it in water.
Yeah, when I gel it, I'm putting it in water, mixing it with the filter water, and then I'm heating it up to the point where it just like the slightly steam. It's kind of like I'm warming it up because when you warm it up, it expands and it turns into a gel.
Right.
So and then I'm taking that warm water, letting that cool down, and then putting gel in there. I'm blending it up and then making a gel out of it.
You're freezing that gel, right?
Huh?
And then you're freezing that gel.
Mm-hmm. I'm refrigerating it first.
Try the canning process. I'm thinking you might be on something.
Okay.
I would just try like one batch of it. Get some canning jars from the store, whatever. They're cheap. They're like $8.99 for a small batch of 10 or 12 or something like that.
Okay.
And give it a go. It should be all right. And the canning directions are usually you can buy a canning kit. It even comes with the tongs to take the jars out of the pot and everything else.
Okay.
Are you in Canada? Are you in Canada?
No.
No, I'm in Oakland, California.
Oakland, California. I'm sure they probably have something out there for kits you can get for that canning. Go into a normal food supply place. And just tell me you want a canning kit, and they'll usually give you 12 mason jars plus all the supplies to go with it. It's not a lot. I think that would I don't know. I think it would work from what I understand. What we do with canning everything, I've never had something go weird or anything like that from canning or preserving.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Mike, where in Canada can you buy the canning stuff?
Canadian Tire.
Yeah, I was gonna say the best canning place. Probably they get everything. I love Canadian Tire.
You've included the new seals, so you can even buy the rings for the jars. You can buy new seals for the jars. There's seals. You can buy everything Canadian Tire. The whole kit.
Cool. I'll have to check that out. I've been actually, and I know Alicia is here. She's probably going to roll her eyes, but I've been talking about I'm thinking seriously about starting my own operation to can the jar. Like, how do I put it? So I think there's a market to start a company that basically makes the Seamoss gels for other people. and that's all we do is commercially make the CMOS gels, like at high volumes. You know, I'm gonna get like massive blenders and shit like that, and like so I can do like 500 jars in one day kind of thing. See, yeah, because I've been telling her for the last 2 years, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and it's gonna be me, and I start and then I stop. You know, it's crazy, but I might get on it because I have a friend. You know Carl Folks? You know Carl, right, Mike?
Carl, which one?
Carl Folks. It's from the beaches area.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's my next door neighbor, and he's been bugging me about investing in the CMOS. And so I was like, hey, I got one. Let's, you know.
So basically, you're talking about ready-made.
So yeah, so what it would be like is I would, and I even have the location set out. It would be right next door. So you know where I used to live on Kingston Road, right?
Yeah.
So right next door, where the convenience store is, the guy that used to own the pizza store owns that building, and he has the place for rent. And so I was thinking of taking it from him and basically turning that into a manufacturing place where all I do is to manufacture the gel, because he's got the full kitchen. It was like a takeout restaurant before.
You can also use it as a storefront too.
Mm-hmm. And I could have people buy the gels and juices out of there. Yeah, I was thinking of doing juices and microgreens. Yeah, I mean, so you can come in there and get your like wheatgrass shot or whatever, or your tray of and so I would have fridges lining in the thing with all the microgreens in the fridges.
You could freeze those too.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. Oh, it's just, you know, it's so funny though. Talking about that location makes me think about 62 Kingston Road. Oh man, those days are crazy. Plan B Fitness. I used to be a DJ. That's how me and Mike know each other. We used to and I used to have parties. What?
DJ too.
So I used to throw these house parties at my house in a semi-detached house, and we'd have 300, maybe 400 kids in there. How many kids do you think, Mike, realistically?
Yeah, I used to play some big parties on.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's a lot.
Still had a big sound system for quite a while too.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh wow.
Yeah, we used to rent out the party places and then Blake, I remember we used to do in the projects, and I was like a total. Well, you're from Blake, right? Aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah. So then we used to do the parties. I remember like fucking scared as shit, bro. Leaving at, you know what I mean? Because it would be like 4 o'clock in.
Because you, Mark, Lloyd, everybody all got the pass because I lived there.
Yeah. No, bro, because the guys would be like, you know, I don't even know these guys, and they'd be like, hey, let me hold on to your turntables. Let me carry them to the car. I'm like, fuck no.
No, it disappeared, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, I'd be gone. Yeah, man. Yeah. I still talk to Mark Johnson all the time.
Yeah.
And stuff. Yeah.
I talked to him there, so.
He's throwing parties now in Pickering.
Yeah, I noticed that. I'm like, it broke one day and surprised him.
So, do you know anything, Mike, about these vacuum seal things?
Yeah.
You've used one before, or
basically exactly the same as the food sealer one, except this little handheld one batteries, and it just sucks the air out of it before it seals it.
But have you used it? You haven't used it in the blender though, right? No, but you have, right? Plant B Fitness. Or you just seen it?
I just ordered one.
Oh, so you never tried it?
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
I just ordered one. I bought this book from this lady who's a raw foodist, and she was talking to she was making these raw. She has this book called Hand Salads, and it's like these wraps that you make that are all raw. And she recommended as her recommended tools. So she kind of like introduced me to it, and I was like, vacuum blending. And at first I wasn't gonna do it, but then I was just like, if I'm gonna be doing it for my meal prep, then I want to be able to at least make it preserve and last a little longer.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I was just like, I had an extra $300, so I was just like, let me go ahead and just buy it. And so it should be here probably within the next couple of days. So I'm gonna try it out because I'm gonna make a Seamoss batch just to see what it does. But
Yeah, it should be interesting.
mm-hmm.
You know what I
The way
mean?
to know after you sealed it, open a couple weeks later, it goes.
Yeah.
It's working. Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to see how I can even do that at scale. You know what I mean? To do the vacuum seal. What's up, Seamoss Direct? What's up?
Oh yeah. Wrong account. I should switch.
Yeah. You want you can leave and come back if you want.
What?
You can leave and come back if you want.
All right.
Yeah. That's you know who that is, right, Mike?
Looks familiar. Who was that?
That was my brother.
What happened to him?
Yeah, he got it heavy. Karma got to him. Because if you remember, I used to be the kind of chunky one, right? Growing up. Okay. So he used to be the skinny one and he used to tease me all the time. And I prophesized to him. I said, bro, one day you're going to be twice the size of me. And I'm going to laugh at you every fucking chance I get. And you're going to have to take it. And sure enough, the guys, and it's just so funny because he would be like, never will that ever happen. Nah.
You remind him at least?
All the time, bro. All the time. I always laugh at him. I always rub it in. I say, see, karma. You know, don't watch the prophecy. I spoke it into existence.
Funny. Nice.
Yeah, man. So yeah, so
I got like 4% of my battery. I'm gonna let my battery charge. I'm gonna come back when it's still on.
all right. No problem.
Appreciate y'all.
Anytime, man. Anytime. I appreciate you coming in and sharing us what you're up to and shit like that. You know, like without you, we wouldn't have gone on to this train of thought about
and we wouldn't have went down a rabbit hole.
yeah. No, it's gonna go crazy.
No. Nice to meet you, man.
All right, take care.
Nice
All
to meet
right.
you too, bro. Appreciate the info.
Okay. So here, let's answer some questions here for a second while he goes. Says Joezette Thomas says there are folks in the chat who can add to a lot of unanswered questions. Okay. Says someone should be administering the chat. Like, here's the thing: put the stuff out there. If you got something to say, I'll read it. But I put a link if you want to join in the conversation. And you know what I mean. I shouldn't be expected to administer the chat. If you want to be, yeah, come on, man. What do you think this is? You know what I mean? Join in the conversation. I put the link there. You know what I mean? But I have been answering questions and I have been going back and responding to them. So it says we need to start this conversation with what species we're extracting our gel from. Well, most of the people that are extracting the gel are extracting Euchinima cottonini, or Euchinima is for me, mostly Euchinima based. You know, if not Euchinima, then it's probably Garcilaria. That's probably the dominant species that are in the Caribbean. I hope that answers the question.
Are any of them better than each other?
No, they're all good Seamoss. No, I'm laughing because we had this conversation earlier about what's the best.
It is a good question. So.
Yeah. But it's almost like they're all good because they're all like the percentages that one might vary over the other is so minuscule that you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Right. It's just like saying which one is better, orange or a tangerine. You know what I mean? Like they both are gonna be good for you. You know, but just depends on what flavor you get.
Mm-hmm. Oops, that's not the link.
So.
Hold on. So she's gonna, they're gonna join in the conversation. I gotta send them the link. Let's talk. I've never heard of Glendium Seamoss. I'm gonna Google this. I've never heard of that species for whatchamacallit. for producing Seamoss gel. I've kind of seen this Seamoss before, but I don't know where you would harvest this. And this might be an interesting, like, kind of side thing, is that sometimes when I see people selling like wild crafted Seamoss and stuff, the Seamoss is like a mixture of like 5 or 6 different species of Seamoss, and I'm wondering if that can add to the additional like if it's almost like, is mixed wild crafted have more effects than just dealing with one species alone. Who knows? I don't know. It's a question.
That's why I think it'd be worth doing some kind of case study on it of the different nutritional values and percentages daily what people would need versus one versus the other, maybe mixed, preserve after preserve, or whatever the case may be. Everything along the way through the manufacturing process as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. Most people don't really follow or understand the whole process, the manufacturing, the drying process, the harvest, and it's those like sort of steps along the way that really sort of determine the quality of the Seamoss. You know what I mean? Like, it's not so much really the different species, but how each person's sort of handling that product. Are they cleaning it with ocean water or river water or pipe water? All different waters will make a difference on the quality of the Seamoss, Yeah. So yeah, it is like so much stuff. I want to see this. So Glendium was used for agar. The gel count is strong for, and therefore requires less water. Agar. I wonder if you add. So she's talking in the Facebook about using Glendium Seamoss. So agar can be used as a preservative, couldn't it? Or is it just used for making like your gelling shit?
I think it's for gelling.
Yeah, just for gelling. Yeah, I don't know. The only problem with some of these species, I feel like they're all great and everything, but like, I don't know. I'm very pro cultivation, pro like sustainability, pro like adding to the environment, not taking away. And I feel like with some species, if there's not a way to accurately scale it, it's like, it's almost kind of like, I don't think it's safe for us, because it's just what I know about what Seamoss does to the environment. It's almost like we need to be putting more Seamoss in the water, for not even just to eat it, just to have it in the water, because it improves like fish stocks. It improves it reduces algae blooms and stuff like that, like toxic algae blooms that kill fish and stuff.
It will be depleted. So
provides nurseries and different habitats and stuff like that for growing fish and stuff. Like, when I'm researching about like Seamoss farming and ocean, what they call ocean regeneration, and they're talking about how like this stuff is helping the livelihoods of all the different communities that aren't even directly related, like with fishing or like lobsters or sea eggs, or you know what I mean, different crustaceans, crabs. They're all growing more in abundance because these farms are in the area providing better habitats for them.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, so it makes sense to give back more than take, really.
Yeah, for sure. And everybody's still stuck on this, like the minerals come from a rock. And, I'm pushing the narrative, trying to show people the truth, but I'm really hoping that, that we get to like a tipping point where it's almost like,
like everybody just forgets about whether or not it's on the rock or not because it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And so then we can start focusing on like you were saying earlier, knowing what the nutrients are in it and stuff like that, and knowing what the benefits are for it and stuff like that. You know?
Yeah, that's going to be the biggest key thing for a product like Seamoss. If it is as beneficial as it's claimed, and everything that's in it can be proven, it's sort of like walking into a grocery store right now. You read labels, or a lot of people becoming educated by reading labels, and they'll make their decisions on purchasing by label of what it is. That's why I'm diabetic. I need to make sure that I'm not too, help them a little bit and make my choices based on that. If the Seamoss had everything I needed or wanted, much educated person, and they're more at their fingertips.
What happened to Damien? Wasn't he here? He said it's the exact same thing. I didn't even notice that he had come back. He must have been sitting there for a while.
Yeah, I really believe that. That's I would like to be able to pick something like that off of the shelf or whatever. Have it at my fingertips, see that it has this much daily of my iron or daily of my vitamin K or whichever.
Mm-hmm.
Know that I can make decisions based on that thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, that's what I've been telling people, is that we need to get to that sort of level where we are providing, you know what I mean, that level of information and standardization and, you know, the details.
Yeah. What are you guys talking? You guys are obviously talking about Seamoss for what exactly? Like just labels and education and.
Yeah, so, it's sort of like, so someone like who doesn't really know that much about Seamoss, it's all sort of passed on from, you know, someone like Julien on to me, like this is what it can.
No, 100%. 100%.
So it's sort of like going into like Metro and buying something off the shelf. You would read the label at the back, right, to see what it's got in it.
Yeah, a lot of people, it's crazy. We had this big debate with this actually TikToker that, like, you know, knows this stuff, got into like really like the logistics, like, you know, the science behind it, like, you know what I mean? He was really passionate, and he was getting upset because we wouldn't advertise the you know, the exact strains or, you know, species of Seamoss that we sell. And the point was like, we're not averse to that, but it's like the public is like, it's so advanced to them, it's like speaking Chinese. Like they don't even want to know. And that's the problem, is like they're so, and I'm not saying this as a negativity, just as a sort of observation, is like there's so much people that just, I don't know, they want the quick answers, they're not doing the research, they're in the industry, they're not going deeper in and asking questions, they're literally just accepting the sort of story tale of things and speaking it like it's truth because they're feeling results.
Mm-hmm.
You know, times of the internet.
Yeah, no, but it's really prevalent, like it is. And a lot of, like in Canada especially, right? There's just like, they don't care, right? And that's, you know, I shouldn't say that's kind of sad. It's just where we are, right? But yet we have to educate them to know like what is good, not what is good, but like everyone's on this gold, right? And there's like, you know what I mean? If you think about it, that's like the oxidized. That's like level 1. Mm-hmm. And although it's great, and I'm not telling everyone to jump in the deep end, you know what I mean? But it's like there's others out there. Yeah. You know, but you're only interested in one thing, like, I don't know. And it's just, you can just show it's a lack of knowledge, I guess.
I'm personally, I feel like the gold should be sort of the general standard, and that some of these other ones, they might be a little bit too strong for many people's diets and even stomachs.
Right. Because of the carrageenan.
The high iodine content. That's a big thing. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's a high like.
So then why full spectrum? Why purple? Why green?
I think they're good to try.
Is like if one's good enough.
Yeah, it's to have variety, one. But I think that sometimes you want something extra strength or stronger than what you normally have. But that doesn't mean you take it every time. Do you know what I mean?
No, but like everything, it should be within moderation. Like I don't eat Seamoss every single day. Mostly because of the chore. I'll be honest with you. That becomes education right there. What are the pros and cons to, like you said, not taking every day, taking every day, or having even? Exactly. Like information labels, what is this going to do? Not do for me, but what is it going to supply me with? If I know that, then I can based off of that. Because there's a lot of people putting in money, right, to get answers, and that's the truth. I mean, it's available, it's there. It would solve a lot of problems if everyone just sort of committed to the, to even do their own research, invest in their own research, right, and so forth. Now, there's some people out there that definitely test their stuff that we sell to, right, and we get great reviews off their testing. Like everyone who's tested our product has been a customer, but not everyone I can test. There's a lot of people out there that's not testing, right? And they're just like, fuck, hey, whatever you tell me, you know what I mean? Dr. Sebi says, right? This came from a rock. It's the same thing, and that's what kills me. Because here's the argument that like a layman can agree with this whole rock versus rope argument, is that if it got its nutrients from a rock, it wouldn't be able to grow from a rope. Period. We cannot put plants, and I'm not saying it's a plant, but you can't grow a plant out of its environment per se.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, yes, hydroponics, and there's ways to get around it, like totally manipulate it, but I don't think the rope is, you know what I mean? Versus the rock argument is like, high-tech science here. And then, even the argument within the argument is just like, okay, if it grows on rocks, all rocks are built the same now. All rocks are made up of the same sort of compound. So, we know that's not the truth. So then your argument is, you got a mixed bag of nuts, right? Imagine a harvester going across the ocean floor, picking up sea moss, right? Diver, right? From the rocks. Some are going to be good. Some are going to be bad. You're already getting an imbalanced product. Yeah. There's no quality control on that. Yeah, absolutely not. Because you would have to be an expert on the type of rocks it is. Like, so a geologist you would be, and know the compounds. And then, then you can make the argument of, this is better than that. So that's what I don't get. So to me, it's the same thing. It's where it's grown. If you grow it in shit, it will be shit. If you treat it like shit, it will be shit. You know what I mean? It's that simple, right? Clean water, good farmer, like good processes after it's taken out of the ocean, right? You're gonna get a good product, right? It's like cooks versus chefs. Like there's some guys that I've talked to down in St. Lucia, they're freaking artisans. You know what I mean? They're super passionate, and I see like the little stages that they go through that they don't have to go through, but it does make the difference. You know what I mean? Between good and bad. So it's where you're growing, it's where you're farmer, right? And don't worry about snail shells in your freaking box. Like I see all these, the rock and that. Come on, man, you're just being silly.
And sorry to interrupt you, Damien, but what's funny is that even the farm Seamoss gets the shells and all that shit, right? It's just that, like in St. Lucia at least, they're taught and trained to remove that stuff. Because for the international market, you can't have all that seashells and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Well, remember we saw Smiley and then fucking whoever was, you know what I mean, like scrubbing like the salt off the purple, like before, and that's before it goes into the box, right? Like, I don't know. I've opened up many boxes, and you could tell some are different from others. Like we're talking farmers, you know what I mean? Some are like really pretty and nice. Some are like, oh, you know what I mean? You rushed it. Yeah, we'll have to push you to the back kind of thing. You sell you a discount.
Yep. And I guarantee you that the cheaper the Seamoss, the less care the person put into it.
Yeah, and that's what people don't get. I know. I mean, there's also that when, you know, I think people have a sort of, when it comes to their Seamoss company, with all due respect, a lot of them, I think they got like a champagne dreams with a beer budget as far as like how much they invest into their company, you know what I mean, to their commitment, like, you know what I mean, they get squeezed on like, you know, 5-pound orders. It's like you realize it's like we're talking $100, $200, like $200, like, you know what I mean, and you're worried about, you know, $5 here, or, you know what I mean, off the pound. Like, I even invested into your company yet.
I think it's a mental thing to them. Do you know what I mean?
It's a scare thing, but
no,
but it's
not so much a scare thing. It's more like they like the fact that, oh well, you know, it was $250 and I got it for $230. Ha 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 ha. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not really affecting your bottom line too much.
Last minute, they're always, and I'm not saying this is like an evil, like run your business the way you want. There really is no judgment, but this is an observation that I'm seeing. It's like it'd run a lot smoother if you made more of a commitment. You know what I mean? And you'll have, you know, secure the product, you'll secure a price, you know?
Yeah.
And things will run smoothly. With good presentation, you'll secure the customer. Yeah, 100%. But, you know, anyways, I'm grateful to have them if they're listening.
Yeah, all of a sudden you see all these canceled orders.
But yeah, it's just, that's what I see sometimes. And it's just, and there's a lot of it. Like, I would say a majority of my business is a lot of this, like, you know, I got guys that, you know, that will make the sort of commitment, and a lot of them that is sheepish, I guess.
Well, a lot of them treat it like a side hustle and not like a true business. Do you know what I mean? It's like an extra $500 for them.
Having a business.
Huh?
Until they see the full benefit of having it as a very viable business, they're only going to treat it like a side hustle.
True.
Yeah, I'll admit I'm a bit guilty of that as well.
Yep.
Where it's like, you know, I don't work as hard as my brother does at all, but it definitely shows. You know, and I was actually thinking, you know, definitely time to turn it up in the sense of, you know, I guess effort and input, and, you know, but my customer service is better for anybody who's listening.
Yeah, his customer service is way better. My customer service is shit.
This promotion is
Yo, Dominic, look, Dominic, if you want people to order your product, go click and make a post in the group. You're not going to go far when you sort of jump in people's comments and sort of. I told this to my brother, same way. Damon, have you ever gotten a sale jumping in someone else's comments and saying no buy for me? Huh?
Every time you talk, I know the microphone was you cut out. You went like blank. I think you were talking too quick.
Oh, I was saying that. Have you ever slid into the comments of someone's post and got any business? You have?
I've slid in, yes, like in the early stages, I knocked that off.
Yeah, but did you ever get any business from it? No, that's what I'm saying.
Nothing but hey, it's a bad way of doing things.
Yeah. So I'm calling out. Here's the reason why I'm saying it. And Dominic, don't you don't need to apologize. I'm more just being a dick.
Nothing new there.
Yeah. So I'm looking at this stuff, and then he's all like, you know, Seamoss, and then click to order. Da, da, da. So I called him out and said, no, make your own post. Because that's the thing too. Listen, I have so many people come to me and they're like, why you let the Asians in there? They're all spamming and post more than they do. Like, like you're mad because they're beating you at the game. They're working harder than you. I have no like how do you say it? Sympathy for that. You know what I mean?
Call them out. I do feel. Yeah, call them out. What do you say? Sorry.
Call them out and show them for what they really are. You know, if others see that,
Yeah.
Loud like that, you know, like, hey, these guys are a scam, these guys are shit, whatever the case may be. If people call them out on it and do it on the regular, they have no choice but to disappear.
Mm. But here's the thing: these guys, they're not that bad. You know, it's just they're very aggressive.
What they're doing.
What? No. The Asians have been doing it for the longest time.
I've seen is, at least the ones that I in mind is they just post a lot.
They just post every day.
They're at it.
Yes, they're on it every day. They're working.
Like he's not the guy I know definitely, and I won't mention his name, but he's always at it and just pumping. But he's not. I mean, maybe once or twice he's jumped on somebody's shit, but you know what I mean. Mostly it's just his hustle. Yeah.
That's it. And these guys from Vietnam and these other places are selling more CMOS because they're 24-hour hustling. You know what I mean? It's a big business for them.
I don't think it's better CMOS, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well,
I'd probably be a lot of high metal CMOS, but you know what I mean?
Here's the thing. And this is not to knock them. I've said this earlier. They're producing at such a high level that it's not the same CMOS as the CMOS that you would clean and dry with your hands. Yeah, I think we were talking about that earlier, Mike. Like it just
And that's what I think is also is like, I don't know, man. I'm not hyping up. Maybe I'm biased, but yeah, like, you know what I mean? St. Lucian Seamoss is superior on many levels.
So many.
I mean? Due to our highly rich volcanic activity, currents, right?
Soil.
Mineral-rich waters.
Yeah.
Low marine traffic. And
Yeah.
then, districts that have CMOS farmers for generations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like you those three checks is going to have a superior product in the sense of these people have been doing it for centuries before it was, not mainstream, but, worldwide.
Yeah. So Dominic Santiago, he said, who buys the Vietnam CMOS? You would be surprised at the amount of people that buy Vietnam CMOS, and you would not know that it's them that's buying the Vietnam CMOS.
They're not going to fucking say that.
No.
Because they're going to make gels and sell it to you as wild
Yep.
crap.
Pretty much anybody that's not telling you where they're getting their CMOS, you would
They even lie, Jules. I'll be dead ass. I've had people, because they're on this Grenadian push. I was selling them St. Lucian Seamoss. They said, we get it wildcrafted from the islands of St.
Grenada.
And it's like,
No, it's St. Lucia.
I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
You know?
So Jonathan Harris says, do you think the CMOS in the Carimere is much better than to see moist and other part of the world? Because remember, Armac in trouble to that water ever here? I don't know what he's saying. He lost me. Maybe other part of the world.
What is he saying?
I think environmental factors with it.
No, well, I'll say it again slowly, because I think what he was doing was doing, when you do voice to text. So he says, do you think the CMOS in the Caribbean is much better than, and then it says to see moist and other part of, and then I think he meant to say other part of the world, because remember, and then it says Armac in trouble to that water ever here. The RFA cannon, every time of the year we got the hurricane storms. I don't know. The Royal Air Force.
Saying the CMOS is better in the Caribbean due to the hurricanes?
Maybe.
Maybe the water bed being stirred up every time it happens.
Maybe, but I don't think that the currents definitely play, at least in St. Lucia, they definitely play a part in the water quality of the island.
And we're off the line of hurricanes, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we're a little bit outside.
Like they don't we capture the edge. They don't come like head on very rarely. They have like I think what 2010 or something like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's been two major tropical storms, I think, in the last while. Thomas
Yeah, but
and
we're talking like hurricanes, like head on, like crossover, like.
I think
right in the
maybe
fucking
Thomas
thing.
or something. Yeah, 2010. I think it was Hurricane Thomas. Or we can always Google it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's off the track. That's the point. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, it's due to volcanic activity, right? It's a lot of mineral-rich waters, going around the island, and then most importantly, you have a low marine traffic, right? I mean, St. Lucia is it's just a lot of sailboats. You know what I mean? Yes, there's yachts. You know what I mean? But more of sailboats. I've seen tons of sailboats.
So yeah, the worst hurricane that hit St. Lucia was Hurricane Thomas in 2010.
Yeah.
That's
like they took they stripped the P-tones or something like that.
Yeah.
One side of the P-tones was stripped.
Oh wow.
Like mud.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
That's an interesting detail. I think there's one here. It says historically only 14 hurricanes have moved within 60 miles of St. Lucia since 1850. Of those, only one has been Category 4 and one has been Category 3.
There you go.
Yeah.
So maybe his argument was to say stirring up garbage. I don't know. We'll be all with you about it. Make it a positive from my end.
Yeah. Whatever. But I need to wrap this up soon because I'm still at the store. I have to get home and do some work. But I finally tried the lion's mane today. Hey?
Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it?
Awesome shit, bro. I had like a big kind of headache, and I was like, like a tension headache, and I was like, and then something said, take that lion's mane, see how it is. And now it's like, my brain is really kind of
You locked in.
yeah, like I can think
like
and
CBDs.
What?
Like CBDs.
Yeah. Oh, I've never really tried the CBD,
Yeah, you're locked in too with CBDs.
Are you
But this is more of like, I shouldn't say this is focus. This gives you more brain energy.
Yeah.
Like you don't feel mentally white at the end of the day.
Yeah.
When you have lion's mane in the morning, like when you're done, you're not like feeling fatigued.
Yeah.
You just feel balanced, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Are you taking any supplements, Mike, or?
Not at the moment, no.
Oh, okay. Just curious.
Just because, like I said, I became diabetic like 2 years ago, so now I'm trying to figure out where I fit in the world of nutrition and proper nutrition. You gotta prick your finger now? No, use the Libre sensor, the automatic one that goes through your phone and stuff like that. So instead of being reactive to it, where you eat whatever you want and insulin, I don't take any insulin. But what I do is I base my food on what my numbers are currently.
So yeah, you were in the hospital for a while. Was that because of the diabetes?
Yeah. Very correctable. I have great numbers. I'm apparently like 91 to 95% in the proper normal range. So, yeah, very well with diabetes. You're visiting. You're just passing through. I'm sort of just visiting. Yeah. Yeah.
So do you have a sensor?
I'm looking for better ways of doing it too, right? To sort of get the maximum out of everything that I do within my life to improve on it. Like we're not getting any younger, right? So, yeah. I'm almost 50, man. So yeah.
It's scary.
It's making me think too, like, gosh, like time's wasting. Look
Yeah.
after yourself now because it has benefits. I know. I know. But I'm still gonna be smoking the za.
za.
The za.
za.
I'm not gonna go nowhere.
Hold on one second. I gotta switch off the lights here before I start getting packed up. I just realized I had the store open sign still on.
Gets held up. It's like, oh, Mr. Hooper, nice health food store. So you running whatchamacallit? You the one that's running the t-shirt company too?
No,
Wrong guy.
no,
Yep.
that you know Mike from back in the
He
days
doesn't
when we used to DJ. He was friends with Mark Camathol.
Right? What? You're not Mike Martin, though.
No, he's not Mike Martin. Mike, do you remember Mike Martin?
Yeah.
With his semi-automatic, his Honda He tried to convince me once that he had a semi-automatic Honda. Like the car was, I'm like, no, makes a semi-automatic. I'm like, how is this semi-automatic?
How does that work?
That's what I was saying to him. Like, there's no clutch. What the fuck?
That's a fun. Well, that's an imagination. Or some serious engineer. Oh, I'm sure if they can make a car out of hydrogen, right? That's true. They keep killing them.
But
Killing them.
I have to reach out to Mike soon. I want to get some t-shirts and swag done.
Say that again?
I said I want to reach out to Mike soon.
Hey, Julien, shut up.
Oh.
Say, what did you say? I guess the oil industry is that big. Oh, of course. Of course. It's fucking $1 trillion. The last thing they need to know is if they can just be obsolete. Yep. Yeah. Especially with and then the exchange of wealth. I mean, you'd never get off the ground. So they already know how to make it. They don't want to make it. This just comes down to that. Yep. Especially if people are figuring it out in their garages. You know.
What are you guys talking about?
Hydrogen cars. There's been two inventors, like two guys that were able to make a car run off water from the garage.
Yeah.
Right. One was in 1970, or so, like, and he like whatever met these guys, and they poisoned him. Like he died like right after he had the meeting. And then,
So I don't mean to laugh, but it's just like these fuckers.
That just recently did it this year, right?
Uh-huh.
And then he was killed at a Buffalo mass shooting. Convenient. Yeah. Can you say Manchurian Candidate? Can you just fucking boop, 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 fucking played the whistle or the bell tune? And then guy's fucking program killer grabs his fucking gun and just opens fires.
Yeah.
And then wakes up and just goes fucking, I don't remember what I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking, they have that is so plausible. You know? Especially with all the fucking mind control we got going on here.
Yeah.
But alright, Jules, I'm gonna head out then.
Yeah, I should start getting going to close up this store so I can get out of here. But it was good seeing you, Mike, man, and thanks for coming and joining on the live stream, and you too, Damien, Seamoss Direct.
Yeah, get Seamoss from Seamoss Direct.
All right, guys, take care. I'll see you guys soon. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. I wish I could keep going. Normally I do, but tonight I have to get home, and it's already I'm in Richmond Hill, which is like more than a half an hour away from my house. So I want to get out of here and try to get home at a reasonable hour so I can get back up and come back here, because this is my life. I hope you guys learned some stuff. I know I definitely learned some new things, got some wild ideas. And I don't know what to say. I think everybody I'd love to see what everybody comes up with when it comes to preservation techniques, because I think that is something that, you know, we have not spent enough time on and need to really work on so that we can get these products out here, because that's probably the biggest thing that's holding products back from getting into the stores or getting to the people, you know, is the pasteurization or the preservation techniques. Because, like, I'll say from example, in this health food store, I would sell everybody's gel, but the only one I really can sell is this one company who's figured out how to preserve their CMOS so that it stays a week out of the fridge, 3 months in the fridge, and then 3 weeks after it's been open. That's a huge timeline. You know what I mean? And so that's something we really need to start looking at and figuring out so that we can grow this industry, because not enough people know about this product and there needs to be more people. But anyways, I can go on and on and on. Let's get out of here. Sorry, bro. I know you got here, but I have to get. I'm leaving. So maybe let's try and meet next weekend, because I'm at the store here now every Sundays, and we can start doing it early around 5, and we can start, you know, talking more about CMOS. All right. And with that, I'm out of here. All right. Thank you. And guys, don't forget to take your CMOS.